can't even do the intro. I can't even bring myself to do it. We've been 4-2 to Wolves here at the Molyneux, here with Asthmatic from Spurs Kings TV to break down what we saw today. Instant match reaction. Absolute shambles from Tottenham. Literally from minute one. Literally from the first minute, it was a shambles today. The pain I went through watching that game is like nothing I've been through before, honestly. Aït-Nouri set the tone for Wolves with putting Wolves 1-0 up in the first minute after a poor punch from Vicario. That really just set the tone for the calamitous performance we were going to see throughout the day. 1-0 down within a minute through Aït-Nouri, a volley which should have been saved after a weak punch from Vicario. It was 2 just before half-time after a series of errors led to Vicario punching the ball straight to Spence, and it was an own goal, which he couldn't have prevented. It was absolute shambles from Vicario. I don't know what he's doing. Diving into Jed Spence, instead of just getting the ball away. Literally embarrassing goal. We get ourselves back in the game in the second half. Brennan Johnson ball across the face of goal. Matisse Tell taps it home in the back post. A bit of luck. Smedo makes a mistake. And we get the goal back. Within 1-2 minutes, we shoot ourselves in the foot again. Ball over the top. Romero's fully in control of the situation. Just lets the ball roll under his foot. And Aït-Nouri steals in, lays it on a plate for Larson, 3-1. We then work hard yet again to get back in the game. Corner comes in. Romero gets a header. Brilliant save from Sarr. Falls to Richarlison, 3-2. And again, within a minute, we shoot ourselves in the foot. How many times can I see my team shoot themselves in the foot in one game? That must be a world record. Bergvall just gets robbed right in the middle of the park under no pressure from Cunha. He just easily just gives the ball away to him. Cunha then rolls past Davis, through on goal, and it's 4-2. And that was just, the game was done and dusted at that point. Have you seen so many mistakes in one game?
No, I haven't, man. Individual errors.
So many.
And, it was like sometimes I was looking at those set pieces because a lot of them came through like isolated moments. First goal was anyway. And I'm like, defensively, we need to be a little bit more, need to be set up a little bit better. Do you know what I'm saying? And
I'm sorry, those 2 goals that we conceded in the second half had nothing to do with setup.
No, of course. No.
Nothing.
For me, that the last goal, all right, Romero's goal was unforgivable. Romero just lapsed for concentration, letting that ball go underneath him, not focusing, and then that goal goes in. I'm like, Romero, not good enough. I'm not happy with that at all. But that goal, the last goal, I was saying, why are we so narrow, and why are we not passing with energy, or like, because if you're going to play narrow like that, you need to punch the ball, like knock it quickly, move it. But it was just like our heads were down, we weren't focused in the game, and then Wolves were alert to it and they nicked it off us. So that's what I mean by the setup in that sense. And the other one, like I said, the first free kick set piece, I'm like, what is going on here? Where's the defending there? Do you know what I mean? It's just, you know what? The errors were a big contribution, but I was saying to you, Sim, I know you were feeling a bit better about that first half, but I needed Spurs to create chances. And I think that's where the problem lies for me. You've got an attacking coach, you've got an attacking style coach, and you want to see attacking patterns of play, you want to see chance creation. At the moment, we're not quite getting that. And it was disappointing because every time we got back into the game, we let them back into it
straight away. Every single time you're looking to build momentum in the game, good feeling. You're making subs. You're looking to get more energy in the game. You get that goal, and then you just shoot yourselves in the foot. And now it wasn't good enough, so you shoot yourself in the other foot. Like we just keep. I mean, those mistakes, that's inexplicable. There's nothing that's unforgivable. That is unexplainable. I have never seen goals conceded like that at this level in terms of just individual brain loss moments, brain fart moments. It is absolutely diabolical, the level of mistake that we saw today with on the pitch.
Is that a lack of care? Is that a lack of desire? Is that a lack of heart, a lack of energy, a lack of pride, playing for the badge? Is that what it comes down to? Because
I don't know.
When you're on it, like, you know, those mistakes don't happen. They don't creep in. Is it confidence as well? Because this Wolverhampton team, it's not like they're incredible, they're a great team. I know you said like at the start, you know, they got the last 3 games, they managed to pick up 3 wins or something like that.
They're in good form.
But still, I don't see that as an excuse where we're trying to, you know, finish the season a little bit stronger. So we've had a bad season. Lots of people have been saying about, you know, when we get our players back, just like the first season. Just like the first season. The first season we said, when we get our players back. And I said, uh-oh, I've heard this before. We got our players back. Now look. We can't win against Wolverhampton. And now we're looking over our shoulder again against them because I don't know what our next game is. I dread to think.
Frankfurt.
I mean, after Frankfurt in the league. I'm talking about
Forest.
the league. Forest at home. Jeez. And I know they lost against Everton last minute by Decore. But Forest are no mugs. And I don't know who Wolverhampton's next game is. But again, we're just sliding down that table. And we're not going to get relegated, but it's just not a good look at all. I thought like at least finish above Man United, you know. Man United are poor. This is a poor Man United team. And I said, yeah, we should be finishing above them. But it come like we're even worse. We're even worse. How? How are we worse than Man United? I don't understand. I ain't got the answers, bro. I'll be honest with you. This is where we're at the moment.
That game was so painful to watch for 90 minutes. Just mistakes, lack of desire, lack of smart, just
now,
brainless moments.
People are going to be focusing on moles. Oh, it's because of the mole. No, it's not because of the mole. It's not because of no mole. It's not because of the ball. It's not because of the pitch. It's not because of the injuries. It's not because the referees. It's nothing to do with that. Because I've heard people saying the referees, blah. It's nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with that. Just poor. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done, bro. I'm sorry. I'm finished, bro. I'm done.
It's like the worst. We're trying to build some sort of positive feeling within the club, and they put on something like that. I know we made changes today, but some of the mistakes are just unexplainable. They are unexplainable.
All right. I hear you about the changes, yeah. But even when those players came back on, the players came back. Remember, Bergvall come back on, yeah. Kulusevski came back on. Do you know what I'm saying? And that game was salvageable.
100%, and we did mistakes.
And they still lost. That's what I'm saying, and we still lost. So we can't even say, I don't want to hear no weakened team, because they had a weakened team too. How about that? Yeah? They had a weakened team as well, and look what happened. We're weakened, they're weakened. They never started with Cunha, they never started with Wang. I'm saying, so they weren't full strength, and they still managed to get the goods. So, I'm not trying to hear like, well, we didn't have our full strength. Nah, man, our team's fully fit. Our team is fully fit. We got all our players back. There's no excuse.
Absolutely, I completely agree. Depending on forms like that, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for some of the mistakes I saw today. Absolutely no excuse. I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything like that.
Like, listen, Romero's captain. Don't make no sense. Don't make no sense. If the player wants out and he's flirting with other clubs and the agent's coming in and, do you know what I'm trying to say? Take that armband off of him. Because he's meant to be the leader, isn't it? I know we don't have leaders, but if he's the captain, when things are going wrong, he's meant to be barking at them, shouting instructions. Do you know what I'm saying? He's the loudest kind of most aggressive player on our pitch. So surely he's got to be the one leading the charge. And if he's not the man to do it, take the armband off of him. Give it to Madders. Do you know what I'm saying? Give it to someone else. But right now, there's no one leading this team up the pitch. Do you know what I'm saying? And Jed Spence said it. I'll be real. Jed Spence said, right, there's no leaders. I don't see leaders. And he didn't even say it to call them out, because people are saying, whatever, Jed, blah, he's just bad timing, whatever. He was being dead real. He's just being honest. You know what I'm saying? And people don't like it because the truth hurts. That's what it is, bro. I'll be honest with you. But
Vicario, I've never seen Vicario play so bad.
Nah, that was awful for Vicario. That was awful.
Vicario was just absolutely shambolic today. He was nervy. His kicking was awful. Yeah. His shot stopping was awful. His keeping for the first 2 goals was absolutely shambles. Absolute sham. Never seen it so bad. What is he doing for that first goal? Well, he's Davis in the way, and he should be saving that Aït-Nouri volley. It wasn't a great strike from Aït-Nouri. You should be saving, allowing it to bobble into the goal. The second one, what is he doing? Just gets himself in a complete mess, diving at the ball. He could have been catching that and allowing the ball to hit Jed Spence to go into the net. Gray and Spence were completely off it today. They were a shambles. Davis was absolutely horrendous today. Romero, what are you doing for that third goal? You're in control of the situation. It's going back towards your own goal. You have so many options of what to do. Back to the keeper, put out for a throw, take it past. The only thing you can't do is just leave the ball for Ait Nouri to go and lay it on the plate for Larson. What are you doing for that third goal? Just completely losing concentration when we just got back in the game.
It is mental, bro. Right
Bergvall,
now,
what are you doing for that fourth goal? Just getting robbed on the edge of your own penalty box by Cunha. And then Davis as well, not wiping Cunha out and allowing him to go through one-on-one. Like, where is
that experience should have
any
been
sort
there.
of kind of
Experience
football
there, that's what
IQ
it's
from
about.
anyone on that pitch?
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, Daniel was just sitting in the stands, looking at it, and he's like, "Don't worry, we still got Europa." like we still got Europa, and I know loads of fans are still saying that we still got Europa, but lads, I'm sorry, man. I don't know, man. Are you saying Europa and he saves the job? Is that acceptable? I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I do know. It's not acceptable. It's unacceptable. Completely. I don't care. Well, I do. I want the Europa win, of course. I want us to win in Europa. I want us to lift the cup. But I am not happy.
Would you rather keep Ange if we win Europa and keep Ange, or not win it and lose Ange?
I'd rather win Europa, bro. I want
And keep
Europa. I want Europa.
So you would
at all
rather
costs.
keep him?
At all costs. I'm Ange out. Don't ever get it twisted, because I know what you're trying to do there.
I was asking.
Don't ever. I want that cup.
You rather win it and keep him.
Yeah, and then in 3 months' time, I would hate that though. 3 months' time, because I'm thinking like that's so Ten Hagish. That's so Ten Hagish. Do you know what I'm saying? But I need a cup, bro. I'll be honest with you. I need a cup. I need a trophy. But this is why I want. This is why I'm saying out, because this is unacceptable, Sim. 15th, looking over our shoulder at Wolves. Wolves are on our tails. They're on our coattails. Literally, they're on our backs, and we're playing Forest next. And I can't see a way out. I can't see the win. And I'm not even sure who have we got after Forest.
Liverpool, I think.
Liverpool after Forest, Sim. Aye, Sim.
Oh look, the league
Sim.
was done for me a long time ago. I'm done with the league.
Sim, what are we doing here? Come on, this is madness.
It's all on Europa. We know that.
All eggs in one
I
basket.
expected
And
to
as we
lose
said,
today. I predicted a loss today.
when the pressure, this all we're doing is putting pressure on ourselves. When that pressure mounts up, you know what this team's like. The mentality, as we've just seen today, is poor. A mentality issue we've had for years as well. We can't seem to shift. No matter who we bring in, it's just it's mad. Recruitment all over the place. Because now I'm looking at the club now. Yeah, forget the game. Recruitment wise, awful. You know what I'm saying? We need to up this recruitment. You can't just be doing inexperience and inexperience and inexperience and expect that to be a good season and expect us to float, because we haven't improved on our starting 11. That starting 11 needed improving. And all we did was get rid of the dead root and then add a couple to that. Because remember, let's be real. They come out today, and I said at the start, they said Bergvall wasn't meant to play as many games. Archie Gray wasn't meant to play as many games. So then who was the players meant to come into the squad then? Who was meant to be those guys? Who was meant to be those guys that were meant to challenge the starting 11? We didn't change that starting 11. But yeah, man, anyway, I'm sure we'll get into it a bit more.
I'm just so much pain we have been through this season, defeat after defeat after defeat. But today was just another level of incompetence. It really was. I've never seen mistakes at Premier League level at the amount in one game. I've never seen the amount of mistakes I've seen today in one game of football.
You can have mistakes though. You can have mistakes.
Not
but
those.
You can
kind.
have mistakes.
So
No, I
many
know.
of
I know.
those kind.
I know. I do hear it. You can have, but I'm saying there's something called stopping the rot. And as you said before, one of the players there, they could bring a player. Ben Davies could bring a player down and stop it from being 4-2. Do you know what I'm saying? There's small things in the game. You can do little game management where you can slow things down and manage think like damage limitation, basically. You know, like what I saw City were going down 2-0 to Crystal Palace, yeah? And I'm like, oh, City were in trouble. But what? They managed to control that damage, get themselves back into the game, and they come back down from 2-0.
This is a team that's
to
won
win.
4 Premier Leagues in a row. You can't compare us to them.
I'm just saying in terms of, bro, there's things we can do in the game. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
There's
Not
things in
shoot
the game
ourselves
where-
in the foot, not pass players one-on-one.
And
to
I'm
the
not
opposition.
saying Spurs are Man City. I'm not. But the way we managed that game was just awful for me. He just managed it terribly. Players on the pitch, players off the pitch. The whole thing was a shambles. But yeah.
Spence had an uncharacteristically awful game, I thought, today. I thought he just wasn't on it, really. I mean, you could talk about individuals, but just as a team, there were points where it looked like we got a foothold in the game and just nothing. We didn't really have many chances to show for it. And then it always comes down to, at the back, we're just making such stupid errors. Like, really incomprehensible
This is what I'm
errors.
saying, though, Sim. I'm saying, look, there's times when, and I said we're playing with the ball and we're playing short a lot. Playing short a lot. And I know that's who we are. I know that's our style. But there's times when I'm saying, right, just throw a ball up there and mix it up. Give them something else to think about. And then that can push us up the pitch. Because at one point, they were pinning us in the second half. And I'm like, look, just literally go direct, go over the top. And like, I'm not against short passing, but I think there's times when you can manage the game and see it and think, all right, cool, let's do what they are doing. They're going direct into their striker, let's do the same and see what happens. And then the second balls, I'm looking for the second balls, us to win those second balls. And then who knows, we're just creating more chaos for them to kind of say, we're asking questions basically. And I don't think we did that enough. We didn't create enough chaos on their side to force errors and then to score goals for ourselves. And I said it before, we're one of the best teams in terms of turnovers when the ball high up the pitch, but we weren't doing that. We just wanted to play short all the time, play it short, and come down that left-hand side. And then when it came to the left-hand side, it petered out when it came to Tell, or petered out when it came to Spence. And Slanky had hardly any chances to feed off. But again, he wasn't holding up the ball well. His decision-making was poor. He was taking too many touches when he's up the pitch. And hence, that kind of broke our attacks down as well. So, yeah, I don't know, man.
So much wrong. There is just so much wrong at the moment. Especially, you know...
They're going down Archie Gray's side a lot as well.
Yeah, Gray just was completely done today. Like, he couldn't do anything. He was getting exposed down that side hard. And all the goals we conceded, I can't look at a goal and think, well done to Wolves, because none of them, they did anything special. In fact, quite the opposite. We gave them 4 goals. We gave them,
in the game.
literally gave them 4 goals.
It's not even like an impressive Wolves team.
Well, it's not like they opened us up. We gave them the ball on the edge of our bloody box. We were giving them the ball away when we were in control of the situation. Like, what is anyone meant to do about that? What is any manager meant to do about Romero doing what he did for that 3rd goal? Like, that is just brainless. Like, I just can't wrap my head around
4-2.
the mistakes that we made today.
4-2.
Just can't rack my head around that. I've never seen Vicario do that.
It's a Premier League team. We don't make, at this level, we don't make those high-profile mistakes time and time and over again. Well, yeah.
All right, well, Thursday, got any hope?
It's a game of football, isn't it? Anything can happen.
We'll have Van der Ven back in the team.
Yeah, Van der Ven will be back. But we're away from home. This is the problem. We've just seen what happened away from home. So, mentality. We're not mentality monsters, are we? So,
not the best way to go into Thursday. Just the way we shot ourselves in the foot. It's just so hard to take, so hard to watch, so hard to think about, so hard to support. I think is the main thing. It's hard to support. Yeah. It's hard to support your players doing that, slapping you in the face like that. Oh, all right. Well, that is our instant match reaction to the painful 4-2 defeat against Wolves at Molineux. It is now your chance to have your say if you want to discuss. I don't know why you would want to discuss Tottenham right now, but if you do want to come on and chat about Spurs and give any opinions you want, now's your chance to have your say. And first up, we do have Marlon in the house. So let's go. A Spurs Kings TV takeover. With Marlon here. How are you doing, Marlon?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Shambles clear today, Marlon. Shambles.
Look, Look, Ash, first of all, let me look after Sim. Yeah, because we were all here months ago and Sim refused to come on board. So you have to look after him because he's only got 6 games of this, plus whatever we have in the Europa League, where the rest of us have been dealing with this for months. Look, Vicario, look, I need to take back my apology for Vicario because when he came back in the team, I was saying, you know what, I need to apologize to him, but you know what, I'm taking it back. He set the tone of the game today. Ash, we've been arguing about him, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
You said Kingsley wasn't good enough, and I said Vicario's not good enough. They both have their faults, and when you go into a game like today, and he doesn't catch that first one, and he's messing about, and he's kicking all over the place. Defense was a shambles. Why Archie Gray's playing right back? I keep telling people, stop playing the kid in defense. He's not a very good right back. He's not a good left back. He's not a good centre back. This is why teams are now going down. When they see him, they're going down his side. But today, again, the mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. What we're doing here, this is Tottenham Hotspur. Like we're going to Wolves. They're 17th. We just look like we're sliding into 17th at the moment. Thank God for Chelsea and Ipswich result today. Otherwise, we'd be looking over our shoulder. That's how bad it's getting. And then when everyone always says, oh, you know what, the league don't count, the league don't count. Performances do. And this is the big problem. Today's performance was despicable. Absolutely despicable. Right? Just watching Sim collapse through that watch along, it was epic. Ben is going to have a field day, by the way, with you, Sim. Because literally, we've been saying this for months. We knew this was coming. And Ash, we said when the players come back, we said it weren't going to change. We told everyone it weren't going to change.
We've seen it
here
before.
Here we are. And it's probably got worse. And look, Van der Ven is a key part to this. But we look like we can't even roll him out for games at the moment. We have to pick and choose which games we roll him out for. We can't go into next season like this. This is a shambles.
Yeah, we really can't, man.
Complete horror show.
I mean, what was your thoughts on Dom Solanke and Tel? That front three. Like, talk to me about that.
Look, Solanke again, awful. I've stuck with him all season, but again, since he's come back from injury, he's terrible. He's been absolutely terrible. He ain't holding it up. Everything's bouncing off of him. Like me and Sim said the same thing against Southampton. It just wasn't one of his greatest games. Brendan Johnson probably played slightly better today, but not in the sense of he set up a goal. But again, he's frustrating to watch. Tell, to be fair to him, wasn't that bad. Every time he got the ball, he tried to go forward. People weren't really making the runs. He basically had Basuma and Sarr trying to help him out in the first half. Weren't great. Madison trying to get on the ball, but Madison was making. With him and Madison, you could tell they've never played together before. And for me, you're going, what are you guys doing on the training pitch? Because he's been there for weeks, and yet that chemistry just wasn't there. But yeah, the front three needs to change next year. We can't have this. Like,
do you keep Tell? Do you keep Tell then? Would you keep him?
I need to see Tell probably for a couple more games, if I'm being honest.
I hear it.
I'm not going to sit there and say, I don't think he actually had a bad game today. Actually, looking at it, the goal was lucky. Don't get me wrong. It was lucky because it kind of hits him and goes in. But actually, everything he tried to do on the ball was quite positive.
Mm-hmm.
However, that's not to say that his crossing wasn't great. When his final balls wasn't great. And that's the bit that I'm looking at. And it's not to say that he was putting people in good positions when he finally did get in those areas. And that's the only bit that's quite concerning for a £50 million player. You're kind of looking at going, there's probably better players and cheaper players in the Premier League that probably can do exactly the same thing if that's what they're going for.
What, Marlon, today's game, have you seen so many mistakes for all the goals before, like you saw today? Was today not just like another level of incompetence and... all 4 goals were such clear individual errors.
I think it reminded me a lot of Newcastle last year and Liverpool away last year, where we completely just, again, error after error after error. And those were in the last 10 games as well, if we remember correctly.
Yeah.
And this is what worries me about Ange. We're getting to this last part of the season, and it's the same as we did last year. And I'm like, haven't we learned anything? And for me right now, I'm looking at it going, I don't even care if Ange wins the Europa League. I don't think he will. I think we're going out now on Thursday, unless some miracle happens. But even if he wins it, he's got to go. This is not good enough.
The
whole league form is done. I'm literally like, I was on the fence for a few weeks, but I was on the fence going, he can, like, you know, just in case he wins it. Nah, I can't watch this no more. I can't hold out. And I know people go, oh, but what about finishing 17th and winning a cup? Nah, this is terrible. He ain't winning it anyway, but this is just awful. And today for me, the mistakes are happening because these players are not playing for him. And Romero, for how casually he was for that third goal, yes, Romero makes mistakes, but it's not usually he slips over, he doesn't, but he literally just gives it to, I can't remember who got the ball off him now, but literally gives it to him. And it's just like, the players are not playing for you. They just want out. A lot of these players want out. And like some of the rumours you heard before the game against Frankfurt of Udogie being linked to Manchester City, Kulusevski talking about going elsewhere, Sarr talking about, you know, he can do better, you know, if playing for Real Madrid.
Yeah, but Marlon, on Thursday...
The head's not in it. The head's not here.
Yeah, but on Marlon, on Thursday, you wouldn't have been saying that, because I thought he played quite well on Thursday.
I was. I kept it calm though, because I said on Thursday, we conceded within the first minute, and the first 5 minutes again, and you're looking at it going, if these players should be on it. What's going on? They shouldn't be like waiting to go down before they start playing. And yes, they finally got back into the game, but I think it was down to Frankfurt's tactics still, because they literally just sat off once they got the first goal, and that played into our hands a little bit. Now, when we go to Thursday, if Frankfurt try and attack us and go through the middle, they're just going to rip straight through us. And that's the thing that I'm watching right now. I'm just watching teams literally just take us apart. How have we let in 4 goals against a team that is 17th? This is what we have to look at it. All those mistakes are because they're not playing for him. They don't want to be here. A lot of them are like, I want out. And this is what you're looking at. We conceded 4 to Wolves. 4. Just let that sink in a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. And it was absolute shambles. But you look at all 4 goals, it wasn't like they opened us up. They just gifted them the goals.
Well,
all of them.
Set piece, which we're used to. I'm trying to remember what the second goal was now.
Second one was just Vicario diving into Spence.
Oh, Vicario, Spence, yeah. That was, again, and that was a deflection, that a header that softly goes at Vicario. If a better goalkeeper deals with that. Third goal, then
Romero.
It's Romero, and then the fourth.
Romero's completely in control of that situation.
But and then the fourth goal is what Bergvall does best. Bergvall's been doing that all season, but it's never actually caught us out. I think the last time it caught us out was Newcastle, because he's done that against it with the whole handball situation, but it wasn't his fault. So, but Bergvall does have that in his locker. But he does. Again, the problem that we're having is that these goals are mistakes after mistake, and they're all becoming individual errors. And for me, what is the manager doing on the training pitch with these guys for them to be making these individual errors?
Marlon, I'm sorry, Romero doesn't need to be having work on the training pitch to not do that.
But Romero's
same with Bergvall.
Yeah, but
he doesn't have to be training.
No, because it is down to training, because what's happening is they're not liking the system that they're playing. So that a lot of them, their heads on cloud 9, because they're thinking, oh my God, here we go again. And it's just, when these mistakes are constantly happening, and once in a while you go, you know what? But these mistakes are happening week in, week out. And at some point we got to look at it and go, is it the tactics that's being deployed, or is it the players? And it's a bit of both for me right now. And I just kind of, after seeing that today, I'm kind of like, well, let's just get these 6 games over and done with, plus the 7th on Thursday. And he needs to, I'd sack him tonight if I could. I'd sack him tonight, because for me, it doesn't matter who we have in charge on Thursday, the same result's going to happen. I don't think Ange changes anything. I think it's either the players turn up or they don't.
What are you saying? Romero's the mole, yeah?
I bet Sim can tell us who the mole is.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I want to keep it under wraps. I'm not going to reveal my sources.
All right.
But yeah, you know, he'll come out. It's the most fault. Something like that. Concentrate on something different, because yes, whatever's happening with the team leagues, that has no impact to how they're going to play on the Saturday, on the Thursday or the Sunday. Deal with it. Make the team go out and play your tactics. Come on. And what are you doing here? We're just, I don't even know. I can't even put nothing else more to say, because it's literally getting to that point now where I can't be asked.
All right, Marlon, lovely to see you. Cheers for coming on Spurs Kings TV. Go check out if you want to see more of Ash and Marlon. Go subscribe to Spurs Kings TV.
450 away from the 4. Come on,
Come on,
people.
come on, people. Go check out more of
Love
Ash
you
and Marlon on
both.
Big
Spurs
up.
Kings TV.
you
Good to see you,
later.
Marlon.
Big up, man. In a bit, bro.
It's just depressing right now.
That's why I was like,
Depressing.
end
Let's
the
just
stream.
hope
End the stream.
maybe they had an on Thursday. Let's just hope Thursday they'll be able to step up. Ange said, in general, I thought we were well in the game and controlled it really
Yeah, of
well,
course
but
you did.
we just keep conceding really poor
Of course
goals.
you thought we were in the game.
I agree. I thought we were in the game. We just shot ourselves in the foot constantly.
Yeah, I ain't trying to hear that, though.
Constantly.
I ain't trying to hear
I know, exactly. You want to hear that it's unacceptable how we concede goals.
Exactly, man. This is
That's
just,
what I
bro,
hear.
sometimes read the room, man. Fuck's sake.
That's right, Ange.
Jeez.
I'll give you more quotes of Ange when we get them. Let's bring on who's next? We've got Gids. Let's bring him on.
Kids.
Gids, thanks for calling in, my friend.
How's it, guys?
Struggling today, mate. Struggling. What did you want to talk about?
I don't really know, man. I haven't seen it this bad. I haven't seen it this bad in like forever.
I agree, man.
It's bad, man. I mean, when was the last time you guys felt this disconnected from the club?
It's a good question, actually. That was the last time I felt this disconnected.
Probably
say
maybe
Newton?
Sherwood times. I mean, even that was a lot better than this.
Sherwood was not not Sherwood. Not
With-
for me,
with
anyway.
With Spurs,
2
it just
points, 8
feels
games?
like it always kind of just gets more worse. We were in this situation with Pochettino. We were like, okay, it's getting bad. It's getting bad. We get somebody else in. Fine, Jose. It gets bad. We get somebody else in. We got Conte. We had Nuno. We all were like, yes, it can't get worse than this.
Oh, yes, it can.
Little did we know, eh?
So, for you, Gids? Describe what you saw today on the pitch. What you think you saw?
No, man, we're fucked. We're fucked, man. I
That's it.
I think so.
That's
man.
it.
I really think so.
Simple.
No
I
hope
really
for
did.
Thursday. No hope for
Simple.
Thursday.
Simple. Not if we play like that. No performance after
Forget
that.
like that. Just in general.
No, bro, if we play like we played against Wolves, against Frankfurt, we're gonna get cooked, man.
I tell you what, man, we're so lucky. Southampton are in the
We're
league,
so lucky.
and Ipswich are in the league, and
Thanks.
bro, like I'm telling you, that's what I was saying before. That 40-point mark is safety, innit? And we're struggling to get it. We're struggling to get to 40 points. So, like, had this been another season, we would have been in real trouble. We would have been in a real relegation dogfight, in my opinion.
Yeah, Ange is lucky, man. If it was any other season with more competing or better teams at the bottom, Ange would have been gone.
He wouldn't be here.
And
He wouldn't
we
be
might
here.
have been relegated, bro. We might have been relegated.
He, you know what? He wouldn't have been there because I think it's only the cup that's saving him. And if he didn't have that cup running, he would have been fired. As soon as we got to like 11th or 12th, they would have axed him quickly. Do you know what I mean? And we would have had a different manager by January? Because I think it was January where we were falling off. Even before January.
Bro, I just have no hope
December.
for that Frankfurt game. Do you guys really think we're gonna grab a result there? I have.
Well,
no
if we can
hope.
play like we did in the first leg, then we can. Well, let's hope we perform more like the first leg than we did today.
I question the players on the pitch now. I question their heart, their desire to actually get the job done. Especially Romero with that his very casual mistake. There's no way in my mind that he should be allowing that. Even if you kick it off, because he's in front of the player. He's in front. The ball's on it.
Control of it.
He's in control of the situation, and so he can do so many things. He can kick it out for a corner, he can knock it off for a throw.
It's
He can pass it
complacency,
backward.
man. It's complacency.
Yeah,
There's nothing else.
Is that what you put the mistakes down to?
I think so, man. But it's also the system. I really do believe that we're at this point where we had so much injuries that we almost never build that, how can you say, like chemistry between the players. There's no structure. It seems like we haven't played before, like together with each other. It just seems like we can't find each other.
Yeah.
And like the commentators kept saying, yeah, we scored like the third most goals in the Prem, but it doesn't look like it. Like we're not playing attacking. It doesn't feel like we're playing attacking football. And the craziest part of it all is we are so reliant on our wingers, and our wingers do nothing.
Yeah, I feel like the wingers are so out wide.
Well, Tell got a goal and Brennan got an assist today.
Yeah, but I mean, like in terms
Yeah,
of
but
creating
let's say, the
chances.
thing is, yeah, no, go on.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, in terms of creating chances, how much did we really create in terms of like testing their keeper, getting shots on goal, creating chances for others? Hardly any.
No, for sure. And the thing is, I know what you're saying. Like the one got an assist, the one got a goal. It's true, I know. But the thing is, like besides that, like it just doesn't feel like we have any patterns to get forward. Like I just feel like the structure of the way we're playing we're not benefiting from it. Like the players aren't getting the best out of the players. Like I saw us linked with that Oliver Glasner, I think that's his name,
Yeah.
the Crystal Palace boss. I think we have the players quite suited for his system, but still, I just can't go through it again. We've been here. We've been here.
So for you, Gids, first of all, 2 questions, I guess. Would you give Ange the game on Thursday, or would you bring Mason in for it? Or number 2, if Ange does get through on Thursday and goes all the way, are you sacking regardless, or if he does win it, you have to keep him?
Are you still there?
Yeah, we're still here. Yeah,
there.
go.
Yeah, God.
Did you hear the questions?
Yeah, I had the question. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, because like how I'm feeling now, we're not winning. We're not winning that game, and we're kind of just extending something that's going to happen anyway. I just feel like it's going to happen. It's going to happen anyway. And if we do win somehow, which I really do hope we somehow can win, because hopefully that other team wins against Lazio, and that would imagine that. That's typical Spurs as well. We'll lose against Frankfurt. The Lazio will lose as well. We would have had an easier semi-final, and then we'll be out anyway.
Yeah, it's mad. Like, because when I was watching the game, I was at Wolves on the ball. They were making poor decisions because I thought they could really hurt us in the transition, especially in that second half when we were getting into the game. There was momentum on our side, and we were starting to push up the pitch. Even though we didn't create anything, we were getting into their half, into their attacking third. I mean, we were in our attacking third, their defensive third, and when they broke on us, they were breaking us with there's loads of space in behind, and I was like, oh, if they made the right pass here, or if they made the right decision here, that creates a big opportunity.
Bro, if Kuna was on earlier, we would have been cooked.
Oh yeah, would have been a big trouble, 100%.
Yeah, man.
And that's what I mean.
Like, what, 20 minutes.
Even if like we drew 4-4, you know what I'm saying, and everyone's like, oh my, but we scored 4 goals. I would still see those glaring, obvious errors where we're so open at the back and we're so exposed on those transitions. That for me is more worrying.
There's no way, man, that we can progress with this. Like exactly what you're saying. There's no way we see ourselves winning anything defending like we're defending. There's no way. How is it going to happen? It's not going to happen. I mean, and then we say, yeah, but we have a lot of injuries. Romero was the guy we all trust. He must be the centre back, the starting centre back. He was the one that gave up that goal.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, Vicario is our starting goalkeeper. We all kind of was like, okay, Kingsley mustn't start, Vicario must start. I mean, look at what Vicario did today. Like, there's just so many question marks everywhere in this team. It feels like.
Absolutely, no, yeah, it's hard to disagree right now, especially off the back of that game. But you know, when you go back, cast your mind back a few days against Frankfurt. It was different. Like we didn't concede as many chances or make as many mistakes as we did today. Like it was just a different kind of performance.
Score. If it's not this, then it's that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like if we don't do this right this game, okay, it's fine. We'll do it the next game, but then we'll fuck something else up. Like if we can't score the one game, yeah, that's fine. But the next game we can't defend. I mean, what happened today, man? What was those goals?
It was embarrassment. It was an embarrassment, those goals.
Do you know what it is? I think it's like the hope that kills you, isn't it? Because I came into the game thinking that we'd win. I looked at the opposition. I looked at our bench especially, and I said, even if we somehow concede two goals or we go down a goal, we're still going to be able to get back in it and the players that we have on our bench versus what they have on their bench, we're going to be able to.
But every time we
get
got
a
back
point.
in the game, we're just gifting them another goal every single time.
Yes, and I concede that, but still, like I said before, had that been a better team, it could have been a lot more damaging, in my opinion. I
Could
thought
have been bad.
it could have been real bad. Like the chances we were
Couldn't
giving
have
up.
got much worse. I mean, we've got battered 4-2.
Yeah, 4-2 is it's a
Yeah.
shambles. 4-2 is a shambles. There's no two ways about it. Do you know what I'm saying? But there were certain times I was like, oof. Like I said, a better player in that position or a better decision, 5-2, 6-2. You know what I mean? Or dare
You
I
don't
say it,
think
7.
I think you should blame the structure for that, though. Like, I feel like if we only had a little bit more structure, like defensive structure, and we weren't that high all the time, the line, you know, I just think it would have been a lot better. A lot of the games, I think we won't be 14th or 15th or 16th. I think we would have been at least like 7th or 8th. You know, because I don't know, it's bad, man. It's really bad. We're so lucky that Southampton, Ipswich, and those guys are so bad, because we would definitely be relegated.
Bournemouth as well, you know, people laughing at Bournemouth, but they're like a good 7 points ahead of us. Do you know what I'm saying? And they've been on terrible form. Brentford as well. Brentford, we're off the mark from Brentford 11th. You know what I mean? Brighton are a good 9 points ahead of us, and they're 9th. You know what I mean? They're 9th. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's just not.
It's bad,
really
and
good.
the managerial options we have to replace Ange isn't looking good as well. Like, even if we take Glasner, it's not like he's, you know, Nagelsmann or whatever. It's still kind of, you're just going from average to a little bit better. It's bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel the same, man.
All right, Gids.
I don't know.
Look,
So that's
no, I was just going to say we're going to have to move on, but I appreciate you calling in, mate.
no
Big up,
problem,
Gids.
guys. I hope we win.
Yeah, let's hope for a better
We
day
all
on
hope we win,
Thursday.
man.
Enjoy
We
your
all
day. Enjoy your beer. Could do one right now, but
I'll see you guys then.
appreciate you.
Yeah,
Thanks a
I'm
lot.
going to drink another 100.
I'm going to need it. Ah,
Cheers, guys.
cheers.
Nice one, bro. Cool.
That was Gids, another one who's losing hope. Let's see if there's any more quotes come out. Can't see. No, can't see anything. Yeah, if anything more comes out, we will
Break it.
All right, let's bring on Dylan. Hi, Dylan. Thanks for calling on.
What's up?
What's happening, Dylan?
Yeah, what's
Good.
up?
It's been a difficult day today, Dylan. What did you want to talk about?
Man, I mean, I just don't really know what we were expecting. I mean, 16 losses. You would have thought 10 losses were enough, but we've got to 16 losses, and we're actually going into games thinking that expecting a win. But like, what evidence is there to suggest that we were going to go to Molyneux and actually put in a good performance? There's no evidence to suggest that.
You're right.
So I was like, we lost this game, and I look at it, and I didn't celebrate any of the goals, and I wasn't really angry with any of the goals. The only one I was a bit like saddened by was the one Romero, because he never makes a mistake. I actually thought he was pretty good today. But it's like I'm just not surprised. I mean, this is the standard now. Like, we had a good performance against Frankfurt, we beat Southampton, but we had those two performances, so it's all right, we're allowed to lose now. And that's just the standards that's been created by, you know, Ange is like same and Ange. Like, that's just how it is. I'm not really sure where to sit with this kind of Ange thing now, because ultimately we conceded 3 goals. Those goals were all mistakes, but then there were so many passages of play where it's like, is this Kevin Keegan ball or something? Because there's just so many
Kevin
like
Keegan.
poor passages of play from the defenders and everything. Just, I just don't really know where to stand, because I wouldn't blame Ange for the mistakes we made, and I wouldn't blame Ange for the chances we missed against Frankfurt. So it's just Tottenham. I just don't know what to say about it.
We're a cursed club. We are cursed. So what do you put those mistakes for all 4 goals, which were just horrendous mistakes? What would you put that down to?
I mean, it's simple. We don't have good enough players. I mean, we have Ben. We're in 2025. Think about everything that's happened. That Pochettino, Mourinho, Conte, everyone's been killed, but the one man who survives is Ben Davies. We've got Ben Davies, our left centre back. Jed Spence, who of course he's been in good form, right? But it's like, I mean, he hasn't proven anything to be a top quality player. And then we've got Archie Gray, who I love Archie Gray, by the way. I think he's an amazing talent. And 100%, I don't want to be too harsh on him, but let's just stick with the facts. He's been terrible at centre back. He's been terrible at right back. Let's just stick with, like, we know that, right? Like, he's a good player. He's amazing for the future, and I 100% love him. But he's been horrible at right back, and he's been terrible again at right back. So it's like, why are we playing Archie Gray in these positions? It's like, we're literally sacrificing goals. We're going into games, just giving players minutes in positions where it's like, you're not good enough to be in that position, and we're losing games, and it's going to cost Ange's job. Like, Archie Gray should be in midfield. Papsa and Bassoum. I actually thought Bassoum was pretty good, but I mean, he wasn't good enough, obviously, because we were 4-0 as well. We lost 4-2, and he got taken off. But it's like, I just don't know. I would have started Pedro Porro today. Like, we're just not got enough good enough players.
So do you think it was a wrong decision to rest players ahead of Thursday?
Now, obviously, I do understand. We should have rested players. I 100% agree with that. But it's like,
was it too many changes?
Do you think about it through Ange's point of view? Would Ange rather take a fully rested team to Frankfurt and have lost today, or would he rather have won today and taken a bit of a fatigued team to Frankfurt? What do you think from Ange's point of view? What do you think he would prefer?
Fit. I'd
Probably,
say fit.
yeah, probably a fit team. I'd say.
Team.
Really? And you would have taken a loss? Just accepted the loss?
Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah, maybe you probably would rather the win. I don't know. It's
you know what it is? I think
it
it's. I always win in my second season. Obviously, it's factually true in it, and he wasn't trying to be like bossy with it, but he said what he said now, and he's standing by it, and rightly so, because he's still in the cup competition, and maybe he's like, this is my only thing I can stand on right now. And the players also, their heads, basically, when you talk to any of the players or you hear any quotes coming out from the players, they're saying they want to win that cup. They want to win it. Mm-hmm. This is the most important thing. So you feel like around the club, that's all the focus is on at the moment. So then maybe I think the focus is, Son had a little knock. Odeber, the mole came out and said, hamstrings, whatever. And so maybe that is the focus about protecting some of these players for that massive game. It's a risk, don't get me wrong, because if that doesn't, pay off and the dividends doesn't come through, then yeah, we'll be egg on your faces, because that means we should have maybe played a stronger team on today. But
Dylan, what are you doing ahead of Thursday? I've seen a lot of people online saying get Mason in for Thursday.
Yeah. Can I just say one thing? Yeah, but the thing is, though, right, I understand why. Even for me, I would finish 17th to win the Europa League, and I understand why we'd want to put everything towards the Europa League. But the fact is right, Europe is one-off games. Like, you're gonna say you win the Europa League, the true progression is shown in the league matches. If you're losing all your games in the league, and you're just winning those one-off games, that doesn't mean anything. Next season, after this season, the Europa League's gone. 2026, we're gonna have 2026 Premier League. We're gonna have to be in those competitions. And the fact is if Andrew's the Europa League, it's just going to paper over the cracks. And it's just going to give, if we win the Europa League, all of a sudden you're probably going to see protests stopping. You're going to see all the pressure on the board and on the manager to just go away. And I think, fair enough, now in this moment, we're going to love it. But when everything dies down of winning that Europa League, we're going to have the same team. We're going to have the same manager. We're going to have the same board. And it's just going to be another cycle. And ultimately, next season, I mean, if we do win the Europa League, we're just going to get knocked out of the Champions League. And let's be real, if we get Champions League money, Daniel Levy has literally come out and said, we're not going to buy players unless he's not going to. And when he has kind of like alluded to the fact that we're not really going to go big this summer, are we? Like, we're just going to continue to what we did last season. We're just signing players like Archie Gray, Lucas Bergwall, just trying to integrate like newer, younger players into the team. But it's like, and just winning the Europa League is just going to paper over the cracks. And next season, that euphoria of winning the Europa League is just going to go. Like, it's just going to go, and we're going to have the same team, we're going to have the same players and the same manager, and it's just going to be another cycle where it's going to be another 5 years of just this same losing 4-2 to Wolves, losing 6-1 to Newcastle, having Antonio Conte post-match reactions and things like that. And it's like, is the Europe, like, I'd honestly rather l- lose the Europa League, sack Ange, bring in a proper manager the thing is that this is the thing with how can we, if we bring in Glasner, right, that's another formation change, and we're gonna have to sign new players that goes towards that system. And it's
Correct.
is Daniel Levy gonna do that?
And is that the right thing to do?
Exactly, and that's why it's such a mess that it's if we sack Ange, we need to bring in a manager that suits our players. And it's who's out there right now? I mean, one thing I did notice about today is the lack of physicality in our team. We just Dominic Solanke was getting Bonnie blued out there on the pitch, just getting banged by everyone, and he couldn't. Maybe that's just maybe him being out of form, and that playing a part as to why he was just getting body. But it's we have such a lack of physicality in our team, and it's when you look at it, I think Xavi, I don't know about this, but Xavi probably would suit our team the best, especially with players like Lucas Bergwijn, Madison, small and nimble players who would be able to play towards that kind of system. Because in this current moment, this kind of heavy metal football that I'm just trying to employ, none of our players are fit for that. I'm sorry, but Bissouma, he's not good enough. Rodrigo Bentancur, whatever you want to say about how good he is, one good performance in 3 months, that's not good enough. I don't care if you played well against Frankfurt. That's not good enough. Brennan Johnson scored 2 goals against Southampton, 2 goals against Ipswich. That's not good enough. You just start padding against poor teams. We don't care. Why are we rating Brennan Johnson? Brennan Johnson is not good enough. I'm not. Stop letting goals against Southampton and goals against Ipswich create this idea that he's good enough, because he's not good enough. He offers nothing, and we keep rating these players who clearly aren't good enough. We've literally treated Christian Romero as a god, and yes, he's an unbelievable player and he's probably our best player, but he hasn't performed anywhere near to the level consistently for us. And that's just how it is with a lot of our players.
We can't sell everyone, can you, Dylan?
Obviously you can't sell everyone, but ultimately you need to make a stand in order for things to change. But if you're just going to continuously persist with the same players, with the same mentalities, with the same attitudes, you're going to have the same results, and the same results is always going to be being underwhelmed, being disappointed, being in March, and your season's already over. That's literally what it's been for the last 3-4 years.
Well, we've got a game on Thursday, Dylan. We have a game on Thursday, and it's April.
Well, I'm going to be going to that game. I hope I see you there, Sim.
Yeah, you in Germany?
Yeah.
I'll be there. And we'll be celebrating when we go through. And you'll be like, Ange in when we win.
Nah, I'm not Ange out. Let's say this. I'm not Ange out, but
Why not? Why are you Ange out? Why not? What's
What's
so bad about being Ange out? That's what I want to know.
Because I just think, nothing wrong with being out. If you're Ange out, you're completely right. Me and people like me and Sim, we're wrong for being not completely.
No, you're not. I just want to know. You're not wrong.
I just think just sacking another manager and bringing a new manager in, because there's not many managers, right? People are thinking Oliver Glasner and Iraola, and with Iraola, he just plays similar football to Ange. I just think we need a manager who's going to come in and maximize the strengths of the current players that we have. And unless we're going to go big in the summer window, then we need someone who's going to come in and bring the best out of our players. And the best manager for that would probably be we can't go for an expansive manager like Iraola, Xavi, people and Oliver Glasner. You're going to need to sign players that suit their system, and that takes money. And you know what Daniel Levy says to that? We need them
I think we need a coach, bro. I'll be honest with you. When Ange is on the sideline standing there, and we often talk about this, there's times I'm like, either there needs to be a leader on a pitch that says to the players, all right, let's drop off a little bit, or let's spread out, because sometimes we're a bit narrow in our possession. Spread out, open up the pitch, make it harder for the team to press us, maybe exert ourselves in a different way, movement off the ball. Tell the player that's in front of you to drop short or to pull wide, etc., etc. I'm not seeing that coming from the players. I'm not seeing that from Ange. I'm not seeing that from the coaching staff, and I'm not seeing that. I'm not there, obviously, on the training pitch. Do you know what I mean? But I can't imagine Ange putting his football boots on, being in the middle of the pitch and coaching drills and saying, look, what I need you to do is stand like this, Archie, because if you stand like this, you're not going to get caught. Do you understand? There's a reason why teams are targeting certain players, certain sides, because they know the weaknesses when they do their video analysis on our players. And that's the difference between those coaches that you spoke about and Ange, who's employing the coaches to fulfill his philosophy. And I think that just the nuances, that's the difference. How are you standing? How's your body shape? Where do you need to be? Why are we seeing improvement in players from the likes of Crystal Palace, from the likes of Bournemouth? In Xavi progressed Jamal, one of the best players, generational players we've ever seen coming out of Barcelona. Do you know what I mean? Xavi did that. Xavi was the one that was there coaching him. So you know that he's going to get the best out of those players. And then I'm not saying Levy's going to go out and get a Xavi. Of course not. But what I'm actually saying is you've got a coach that's getting touch tight with the players, talking to them, walking through, saying things, getting his boots on, and he's shaping things out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, look, it depends. Some coaches delegate, some managers, delegate to other coaches for the training.
Yeah, for sure.
And some managers get hands-on in training.
Of course.
It's not one way is not better than the other.
But I'm saying in terms of improving players to bring them up and bring them forward, I feel like the players that we have are good enough to be hired in the position that we're in.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Irrespective of the injuries. Do you know what I'm saying? Because people say, but context, the injuries. I said with injuries, 10th, 11th, I can deal with that. Do you understand? And that people said, Ash, you ain't got no standards about 10th, 11th. What kind of Spurs team do you want? And I was like, look, with injuries, I still expect my coach or my manager to get a certain level out of their players whilst he's managing that squad, whilst players are coming back from injuries, and then we push from there. Because if we're in 10th, 11th, we can still bring it back to 8th. From 8th, you're still in the mix of Europe. And then you can build up. If we ain't got no Europe, do you think those players that you're talking about, Kulusevski, Udogi, Sarr, you know what I'm saying? Whether you think they're good or not, who else is there? What other players that you might rate? Romero obviously has been linked away. Bentancur's been linked away. These players are Champions League players, or at least Europa minimum. But they aspire to be in the elite competition, which is Champions League. We're not going to be able to keep hold of them, let alone attract players on.
Let Dylan get in. Go on. What are you going to say, Dylan?
Go on.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to go back to the other point where you're talking about what you want more from this management of the team, and I was like, so you're basically saying we lack the basic fundamentals of everything, basically, from the manager, from the players, from the training staff. That's what you were saying, basically.
Got Ryan Mason doing the coaching, and Jedinek, of course.
Dylan, we're gonna have to move on, but we appreciate you calling in, mate. Nice to see you.
Can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
On the last couple of videos, Dani Kariakou, the amount of hate that he's been getting in those videos. Have you lot been seeing it?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say, all those fans who are giving him hate, you're all waste, man. He's a top fan. I've met him before, and he's a great guy. Thank you, boss.
Big up.
All right, that was Dylan. Let's go to some angry fans probably in the car. Let's get Ben and Brian in the car together. Let's go. How are we doing, guys? On your way back?
Unbelievable. We saw a really tight game when Spurs were always in the game, as Ange Postecoglou liked to say in his post-match, really tight game today. We were unlucky, I thought. I can't keep a straight face when he's saying that. It was a hot mess. A hot mess. We were in the car and we were both saying, do we give away a big chance early off and get away with it, or do we concede? And then within 2 minutes, that happened. It's just depressing. It's just ridiculous that this team we're so poor.
How do you explain some of those mistakes you saw today?
Mate, Romero's mistake was shambolic. Every single goal was avoidable today. But it wasn't even just about the goals. They could have scored a lot more than they actually did. I thought we got away with it, only conceding 4 goals today. I thought we could have conceded 6 or 7. That's how bad we actually were. And it felt like a lot of those players didn't want to be there today on the pitch, particularly Cuti Romero. Romero was there was some parts of his game that are all right today, but after that mistake, you know, the rest of the team come over and clap the fans and say thank you for your loyal support, thank you for travelling 3 hours up the motorway to seeing that shambles. Romero just walks down the pitch and starts getting in arguments with Wolves' Brazilian players. Ange, he don't come and thank fans. He goes and walks straight down. I mean, there is no gratitude towards the fans that travel week in, week out. And I think it's a joke, and I think it's embarrassing.
Yeah, horrible.
But in terms of how we started the game, Vicario making some serious errors right at the beginning of the game. Haven't seen him maybe being that rattled than I saw him today, I think.
Well, there was a game a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember who it was against, and he looked as rattled as that.
Fulham,
I mean, maybe it was Fulham. I think this
Chelsea.
I think
Chelsea.
Maybe you're right. You're right, Chelsea. It's starting to creep into his game again, and that is worrying. I mean, we were sitting literally 2 rows back from Vicario's mum and dad, and when that goal went in, Spencer's own goal, she just sat down and it looked like she wanted the world to swallow her up at that point.
You know what it is, Tim? I was saying to Ben as well. You look at it. We've got a great shot stopper in Vicario, a great shot stopper. But again, distribution is an issue. When we got Lloris, it was sweeper keeper, and he was the best at it. But then when football evolved, it became playing out from the back. He was obviously not as good as that. I'm trying to think, the last goalkeeper we had that had good distribution and was great shot stopping is Paul Robinson. And this is an issue we've got because the goalkeepers have got the responsibility now of starting attacks and relieving the pressure as an outball for when we're under pressure. But you saw from I think it was the end of the second half, every time Vicario got the ball, the Wolves fans were just on it, causing tension. And every game now, they're just pressing on him. There's no doubting his shot stopping. Absolutely no question. He's phenomenal. But his distribution is a huge issue.
Talk to me about what you thought about in terms of our performance in the midfield, up front, chance creating and stuff like that. I know we made a lot of errors, but do you feel like there was times where we could have got away with a point, or was it just complete horrendous on that side?
No chance. It was a shambles from top to bottom. There was no player, maybe Tell and maybe Basuma, and Basuma was shambles for the first 5 minutes when he gets a booking and makes a mistake. But apart from that, I thought he grew into the game. Tell was always making movement on the left-hand side. No one else was moving. It was all so static. And I felt like it was just an embarrassing performance from top to bottom. We barely laid a glove on them. The 2 goals that we did score, we were lucky to score. They were fortuitous goals. And there's nothing to take away from that game and being like, oh, you know what? We're a bit unlucky in this facet. We're a bit unlucky in that facet. We did this. We could have won the game or got away with a draw. There was nothing to take away from that. It felt like all they had was an eye on Thursday, and that was it. And that's down to the players on the pitch. That's also down to the manager for getting the players up for this game. I mean, I don't understand how this manager is still in a job. Please tell me how this manager is still in a job. We're conceding 4 goals to a team that were in 17th, losing 4-2. We're letting teams below us all season take points off us. We're sitting 2 points above 17th. How the hell is this manager still in a job? 2 points above 17th.
And don't worry, we're going to come back stronger. Yeah. We build from this. We learn. We come back stronger. But I will just say what Ben mentioned, and it's the first time I've seen him live for obvious reasons, and obviously you don't get to see so much of this on TV. Matthias Tell in the first half, I was looking at the game trying to be positive and find positive things to say. Matthias Tell's movement,
it really was.
I know, it wasn't. I was really like, come on. I will say Matthias Tell's movement and the amount of runs he was making and really good runs was absolutely outstanding. He was constantly making these runs, but every time he did it, he just got overlooked. We kept it in the middle or played it out wide to the right. Matthias Tell off the ball was making moves left, right, and centre. And
he's the only one.
Maddison found him a couple of great balls, but his movement from the left, very, very impressive. Really impressed with Matthias Tell's movement.
He's the only one, right?
Yeah.
Like, whenever we had the ball and we're trying to progress play, it was just so static, so lethargic. Nobody is moving apart from Tell, and they're never finding him. They're always going the other way.
Correct.
So what would you invest in him then? Would you make that purchase in Tell then in the summer for 50 or 60 million?
50 or 60 million. 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 50
I don't know about that. I think we need to see a lot more than just a bit of movement, to be fair. But look, I think there's no doubt that he's a player with a lot of talent. It's just about, I'm a bit fishy to it because, like, why are Bayern so desperate to get rid of him? Because, like, he was like the darling of their academy, you know, he was getting minutes consistently for them. And then suddenly they just want to throw him out the door. I don't know. There's something fishy about it to me.
I'll add to that as well. I can only go from this game that I've seen him live. Well, obviously, that's him playing at the left, and it comes to the point that if we do buy him, is it that we are using him to replace Son? Is he going to get the games on the left to consistently do that? If a new manager comes in, when a new manager comes in, does he see him as the left? And I think one of the biggest things about him is the price is big, but you know what? He is a big talent. But obviously, like Ben just said, maybe there's a reason Bayern want to get rid of him, but it could be a signing that if we don't make, we could live to regret. But is that how we are doing business now as Tottenham Hotspur? We don't know if we might regret this, so we're going to make the maybe plunge on whether it. But like I said, it was the first time I got to see him live, and obviously I wouldn't have seen what I saw if I was watching it on TV. His movement and the runs he was making were fantastic. He just was not being found.
So out of the two of them, who would you get then? Because we've been linked with Diblin. And then we've got Tell. Who would you rather, Tiblin or Tell, in that kind of conversation? Because I don't think we should go for both.
I'd rather us bring in someone that's proven quality.
Yeah, that's
to
what
go
I
straight
said.
in on that.
That's what I said at the start.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Dibbling and Tell. It's all great. You know, great prospects for the future. But we need players to come in now and make a real difference. We don't have that.
Exactly.
So Thursday, what are you feeling? You know, a lot of people saying get Mason in for Thursday. Do you think you'll see a different Tottenham on Thursday? Do you think we're better off putting Mason in for charge for Thursday? What's your feeling?
Tim, I would. I would, and the only reason I would, whether people agree with it or not, you look at it. Chelsea did this with Di Matteo. They went on to win the Champions League. The Bills did it with Arteta. They went on to win the FA Cup. Not saying that Mason's going to do it and it means we're going to win the Europa League, but we're doing this week in, week out, and the performances and the results are not changing. Don't know what's going on in training. Obviously, we're not there, so we don't see what's happening. But it just looks like the players are just not all in on these tactics, these formations. So if it had to be, I don't even know if it would be, what's the other guy? Is it Wells that we bought?
Matty Wells.
It might even be him, But when people say, I don't give it to Mason, I understand the premise, and obviously it'll be his third time. But maybe if he was in, I'm not saying it would definitely, but maybe the players will have a different viewpoint on tactics. Maybe they have a different viewpoint on the training. Maybe they have a bit more optimism and a bit more belief in the system being set up to best suit their needs. I just can't see in what world we look at it. We've beaten Southampton recently in a lackluster performance. And what other wins have we had? Well, what other is there to get excited about? I just think now I was saying to Ben as well. Is it 17 defeats in the Premier League now? Or is it 16?
17.
So 17 defeats out of 32 in any walk of life, in any league. That's not good enough. Against that, forget whether you're a team that's meant to be as big as Tottenham Hotspur. When you've lost over 50% of your games. That's not acceptable. And we were saying, you look at it, apart from Southampton, that we did double over, Ipswich took 4 points off of us, Leicester took 4 points off of us, Wolves have taken 4 points off of us. Sorry, Ipswich took 3. But Wolves 4, Ipswich 3, Leicester 4, and then the teams below us.
I don't have the answers.
We need to change. We need a change, and we need a dramatic change ASAP. Otherwise, nothing's going to get better. And
would you change? So would you change it ahead of Thursday? Yeah.
Frankfurt on Thursday last week was better in terms of performance, but let's get it real. We still take away a negative result to take away to Germany. So I've got no confidence. Exactly. We had to win that game. We had to take at least the lead to Frankfurt to stand any chance. So I've got no hope that we can go to Frankfurt and get a result. We need to do it in a gritty way. And we haven't shown that all season, let's be real. So 17 losses this season. He's had multiple sackable offences this season. Get him gone tonight. I've had enough of seeing this dross week in, week out. I really have.
So Mason for Thursday.
Mason,
yeah.
Wells, whoever it is, just get him in. Like, and all he's doing is failing week in, week out.
And what about seeing Decky today? Was that a positive?
That's the thing I said to Brian before the game. Like, the main thing I want to see today is Decky get on the pitch and get some minutes in his legs for Thursday, because by God, we're going to need him in full flight. But it's not like he put in the greatest display, did he? But I guess it's just about fitness for him.
Yeah, you know what it's become, Simonash? It's become the point now where the results are null and void for what it's going to do for our season, apart from trying to get away from 16th, 17th, or wherever we are now. It means nothing to what we're going to achieve in the Premier League. It's all about the performances.
Mm-hmm.
And the performances just aren't there. It was good to get Decky on and get some minutes. It was a surprise when we saw him on the subs bench, but it's become that these games now, it's not about the result. The result's going to do nothing for us. It's the level of performance, and today the performance just was not there.
Like every bloody week, it's not there. It's an embarrassment to see this week in, week out. How can we concede 4 goals to this Wolves side? How are we going into games, the manager not being able to get him signed up for any sort of game? 17 losses this season. We're going to more than likely finish 17th. Is there a game from now to the end of the season in the Premier League that you can hand on heart say that we're actually genuinely going to win? Because I can't see another win this season. No.
62%
We could finish
possession.
this season on 20, 22, 23, 24 losses.
62% possession, XG, if you like that, 1.89. Big chances too, compared to their possession, which is 38%. XG 2.44, and their big chances 4. And I was saying as the game was going on, it's about the chances we create. We're not creating enough chances with the amount of ball that we have. And I was watching something on The Athletic, and they were talking about why teams like Southampton went down, why Leicester went down like the other seasons when they were. And these managers, they came up with these relegation sides, and they had all the possession in the world. But when it came down to it, they were losing because they didn't have enough nous in them in the games where they needed to get the win over the line. And I'm looking at us in 15th place, 2 points behind 17th. We've got Nottingham Forest next. And I'm starting to think, where's our next win coming from? And do we need to not change formation, like stick to your philosophy, but there's certain things you can change slightly different. Do you know what I mean? Amorim, he has a 3-4-3, but he still has the same philosophy, but he's able to change certain tactical things where Man United will drop off a bit and sometimes they will push up a bit. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like we don't change any of our we've got our identity, but we don't change anything. Like, we don't tweak any of our tactical shape to help push and get results through the door. And I think that's a big problem this season, in my opinion.
I completely agree. And Ash, you got to look at it, right? The whole point of this system, the whole point of Ange ball is consistently to create chance after chance after chance, and you know, submit them into pummel them into submission, right?
Yeah.
We haven't been able to create consistent chances for a long time. The best performances that we've had this season is playing on the transition against like the Man Cities and other games this season. These are the only games that we've kind of looked good all season when we're actually trying to play build up the back, possession based football. Brentford, you know, we've looked terrible. So I mean, the whole premise of Ange ball has been absolute shambles all season. It doesn't work. And for me, it looks as though the players have lost complete belief in what they're actually trying to do and what Ange is trying to do. I don't know who else can argue against that.
All right,
boys.
Nice to see you guys. Ben, back in the studio tomorrow. Brian, lovely to see you as always, mate.
Always a pleasure, people. Have a great evening.
I will see you guys soon.
Ange out, leave you out.
Ange out, baby. Ange out, man.
Some very angry fans on their way back from the Molineux. Understandable. I mean, it was an embarrassment today. Absolute embarrassment. Let's get Marco on.
Marco. Oh, Marco.
Hey, Marco.
Hi. Good afternoon, Simonash, man.
Big up,
man. Very long day.
Tough.
Trust me.
A very, very long day.
Trust me.
What do you want to talk about? Yeah,
where should we start? Where should we start?
Mistakes?
No, so up to you, mate. What point did you want to
come
and talk about? What point did you want to make?
First and foremost, given that this is my first time coming in,
Big
because
up.
I definitely won't be here when we lose against Frankfurt. I have very little hope for that game. There is no way we go away against Frankfurt and take a win, especially after today's performance, which was borderline ridiculous. Because when you look back at it, literally all four of our goals were very preventable, as previously mentioned. Because I think at first it was Vicario punching the ball when I feel like it was quite a reasonable catch.
Yep, I
And
agree.
then after then it's Romero and then Vicario again. It was an absolute shambles today. And I wanted to highlight Solanke today because I felt like he was one of the few people that really let us down. Not sure whether it's me asking a lot from him, but there were certain times and situations where he was in front of the box, and I get that it's a half chance, but given that I fell in love with a team that had Harry Kane in it, Harry Kane would just wrap it with his right foot and swing it in and have just the net wrestling, but we're not really getting the same output from Solanke. And it's starting to cost us, man. Starting to really cost us.
Was it 7
And
goals he's got this season? And 2 assists,
Can you
nine goal
imagine?
contributions. Yeah.
Can you imagine? And season after season, Kane was putting in 20 goals a season, plus minus, on a consistent level even then. Yeah, man. Today was an absolute shambles of a performance. It was an absolute shambles.
Ange said the game was undone more by individual errors than a tactical perspective. Do you agree with that?
To a certain extent, I feel like games like this are it's very difficult to judge the manager in games like this because no manager is telling their players to go out and make errors like that. Like the Romero one was blatant, for example. I doubt that Ange's tactical philosophy has anything to do with situations like that. So I feel like I'm actually closer towards Sim sides than Ben when it comes to the whole argument of Ange in. I feel like I give him a lot more grace than he deserves. And I guess today might just be one of those days because you can't account for individual errors to that extent 4 times in the same game. Yeah, there's very little a manager can do in situations like that. So I hear him to a degree. Because at the end of the day, we shouldn't be losing to Wolves, irrespective of where we are. Given that Wolves have been poor too this season, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's apparently the first time they've scored more than 2 goals in a game in 2025. Wolves this season.
Yeah.
But what do you put those mistakes down to?
I feel like everybody's just kind of clocked out for the season. I feel like mentally, obviously players are professional, so they're not going to really display that in an obvious manner. But I would like to believe that the players are just really not interested in the rest of the season. And I understand them because it's not looking like it's getting any better. And we're constantly just dropping down the table. Wolves might even reach us before the end of the season because I'm not sure where the rest of our points are coming from. Because we have Liverpool next, Crystal Palace, which beats us earlier, West Ham, which we never get points away in even. Yeah, so I don't blame the players. I think it's just a lack of concentration and slight disinterest, if I can say.
What about the actual chances we create? And I think that was the point that Ben was saying in terms of like us being an attacking possession-based team. Are we creating enough chances to kind of warrant to say like, you know, if we didn't make those big mistakes, then we would have had a draw, or if we didn't make those big mistakes, we would have had a win. Do you know what I mean? How can we like justify that in that performance and conceding as well 4 big chances as well, not just the goals?
I actually looked at SofaScore earlier and saw that we actually had 60-something ball possession, given that we failed to make any clear-cut chances, that kind of defeats the whole point of having the possession.
This is my point.
Like Jose Mourinho said, we took the ball today home and Wolves took the 3 points, quite literally. So when it comes to the whole philosophy of us trying to retain the ball, I don't really understand. I feel like nobody's trying any risky passes. I feel like it's all very tame, very
safe,
very safe. Yes, and yeah, man, I'm really not enjoying it. And I expected Bergval because he's, you know, the player that tries things a lot more often. I thought maybe he was gonna come on today and then provide us with that something a little bit different just for him to lose the ball at the back and for us to concede right after scoring the second goal. You couldn't write it, honestly. You couldn't have written it any better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ahead of Thursday.
Also,
Go on. Yeah, go on, Marco.
oh no, sorry. I was about to say, I felt like today it was typical Tottenham, honestly, because mistakes, sure, we've touched on that. An own goal, okay, fine. Romero, one of our best defenders, lapse of concentration. And then right after we score, they hit us back again. And how many times has that happened this season when they're literally showing a replay and then it's cutting to a 1v1 and the next thing we've conceded? It's been ridiculous this season. I have to look back and count how many times things like that have happened.
Yeah, how how much does that affect the team, especially like you saw today? Like we worked so hard to get back in the game, get a goal, and then a couple minutes later, every time we just shoot ourselves in the foot, and it just seems to like take the stuffing out of us each time. Like, how do you deal with that?
I feel like if maybe we're in a better position in the league, maybe we would have been able to pick ourselves up. But after the third goal, I knew that it was a wrap because I feel like as a player, if you guys are looking like, okay, you guys are building motion, you are getting back into the game, and then conceding, it really saps your confidence. It really saps your belief in thinking that we might. Oh, sorry, hi.
Yeah, carry on.
No, just ignore them. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It saps your confidence in you thinking that you can bring the game back. And I feel like I could sense it in the body language as the fourth goal went in. I feel like that's when everybody just lost hope altogether. And it should have been 5 goals today because we gave up an early chance, I think, in the first half. And then they just so happened to miss it. So, it should have been a lot worse
it
than
was,
it actually was.
4 goals, 13 shots for Wolves, 5 on target.
And 15.
Yeah, 2.4. Yeah, so 11 shots for us, 4 on target, 1.99 XG.
So what about the thing about Thursday, Marco? Tell me, do you think there's any chance we could see a different Spurs on Thursday?
Is there any chance that we could see a different Spurs on Thursday? Because I love my team, it's very difficult for me to utter the words no, but it's not looking promising. Given that our last promising performance beside Frankfurt, the first leg, was Southampton, it's not looking too promising. Honestly, I'm just expecting us to lose the next game against Frankfurt so I can just stop watching Spurs for the rest of the season. We've taken too much heartache.
Do you know what it is? I think, honestly, had this been a one-off game and we hadn't lost to the likes of like your Palace, your Ipswiches, your Leicesters, pretty much had the season we had, you kind of look at this game and you look at those errors and you're like, it's unfair to pin it on the manager. I think that's where I'm at. I think it's like, cool, you know, these things happen, you know, it's a mistake. But I think it's because of what's happened before and then an expectation from some fans, not all fans, some fans thinking, you know, we're better than Wolverhampton. We should be able to get something from this game, leading into the game, and then having a performance like that. I think that's what kind of makes it less forgivable, if that makes sense, for Ange, because yeah, you know, mistakes, you can't tactically, like Sim was saying, you can't really account for that mistakes. You really can't. But the fact that we conceded other chances on top of that and didn't create enough for ourselves on top, I think that's where, you know, the fans aren't really confident going into that Thursday. And you do want to be optimistic, but it's the away form which is the worry, and the mentality alongside with it, where we've got some players, we're not sure if they care enough, if they want to be here. Then you've got a manager that's fighting against the fans. And he came out a few days ago, I think, he came out and said that he's not privy to what happens behind the scenes. So actually, where we thought, you know, Ange is like right with the board and they're ongoing with talks and they keep communicating with him, he's saying, no, that line of communication is not really there. And now we're not too sure where he stands with the club. If the players are on board, and definitely the fans, there's a lot of toxicity because the fans are split in the middle as well. So like going into Thursday, there's not a lot of optimistic attitude going into it. That's
Yeah,
what I think.
they need the players to turn that around. It's on them when they're making mistakes like they are today.
Yeah, 100% it's
understandable.
on them. 100%. Kulusevski, he didn't make a mistake, but obviously he's coming back from injury. But we're hoping that, he comes back firing. But again, he's not going to be fully fit. The rhythm, some players, they need that, a few games to get back into it. We're relying on Bergvall a lot. He's very young, so he's going to make mistakes like he did today. And he has made mistakes like that before. So putting those type of pressures on those type of players, if they don't turn up, then who do we look to next? Son's not been at it all season. As you said before, you wanted to pick out Dominic Solanke, and these and you know what, the opposition are going to be watching games like this and finding encouragements and thinking actually we can have a go at them. And their fans, we know it's a hostile environment over there.
Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's left.
Oops.
All right, looks like Marco. Thanks for calling, Marco.
Thanks for
Anyway,
calling. Big up,
appreciate
Marco.
you. Looks like you've been disconnected. Let's get on Danny.
Danny's good.
I'm sorry, lads. I don't know who this Danny Kiriakou is, but it's not me, mate. It's not me.
Who am I talking to?
I'm talking to Ange Postecoglou. Yeah,
Ange.
yeah.
What happened
Yeah,
today,
yeah,
Ange?
yeah.
Why did we
Well,
lose 4-2?
Well, I thought the lads played pretty well today. They gave as best as they could, and I thought Romero had a great game. And I don't get why all this hate is coming up for me, because I thought the tactics were brilliant today. Yeah.
Well, Ange, we know you. We've got a big game on Thursday. Everything riding on that cup game. You always win something in your second season, so we're going to win on Thursday.
Look, boys. I've had a good day today, and I think the boys did pretty well. This season's been pending on the Europa League, and I think we're definitely going to win it. I think we're going to go to Frankfurt. We're going to play very good football, and we're going to play Ange ball. And we're going to win the game. And then I've already spoken to Daniel Levy, and he told me that if we win it, that my job's safe. And then next season, he said that we can sign a couple of kids, and then we're going to go challenge for the Premier League, and we're going to win it. So I'm very happy, lads. Yeah.
You said you always win in your second season, but are you going to win in your third season as well if you're still here? How's that going to work?
I think so. Yeah.
So what caused the mistakes today, Ange?
I don't see why you're laughing, because look, to be honest with you boys, I think too many people get involved with what's going on outside the club, and you don't know what goes on inside the club. We have leaks everywhere, and Daniel Levy's got a leak in his office, and it's just hard. It's just hard. We can't do everything, and I think the boys have done pretty well this season. We've had a lot of injuries, but Arsenal have had more injuries than us. But look, we can't complain, can we? We got to use the injuries as an excuse. So yeah.
Andrew?
So what caused the mistakes today, Ange? What caused the mistakes today?
I think a couple of players are injured today, I think. Yeah. And we didn't have our full fit squad. And look, what can we do here, boys? We need our full squad back. Look, Van der Ven weren't playing, and when you don't have Van der Ven, we can't seem to play our football, and Ange ball just doesn't work. So it's hard. But the boys gave everything today, and I've got full confidence on Thursday night for the Europa League.
Have you found the mole yet, Ange? Have you found the leak?
Yeah, I think it's Daniel.
Daniel.
Oh.
Why would Daniel leak information against his own club?
I don't know, but I just have a big feeling it's Daniel Levy. It might be my good old mucker, Scott Munn. It could be him, but you never know. I mean, he got me the job, but who knows?
All right, Ange, thank you for joining us after today's embarrassing defeat. Nice to talk to you.
I'm just going to bring Danny back into it, all right? So
let's get Danny
you can ask
in.
him some questions. All right, thank you, lads, and have a good day. Have a good day, mate.
Nice
Yeah.
one. Good day, mate. Good day. Good day.
How you doing, boys?
Danny, nice to see you.
It's like an exorcism.
Yeah, nice to see you guys as well.
Someone
How
took
we
over your
doing?
body there. Got the angel
Yeah,
spirit
it was,
in you.
mate, Ange was. I thought Ange was brilliant today. Do you know what I mean? I thought he was top form today. But look, the game today I thought was just funny. I honestly, I can see Sim now. Right? I was actually watching. I was actually more interested in your watch along today than I was the actual game, boys. Like I can see Sim getting angrier and angrier at each game that goes on, and it's just it's giving me just good energy. Sorry, Sim, but
Man's giving
funny.
you good energy, you bastard.
You're giving me that energy, man. You're giving me that energy because I mean, even my dog who was sitting there watching the TV, even he was turning away when we were going goals down. I mean, he's barking his head off now, but he couldn't even watch that. I mean, it was that diabolical. It really was.
we the level of mistakes today, like especially just like incredible individual mistakes. You have to say,
thing is,
like, what do you put that down to?
It was individual mistakes, but I mean, look, let's be honest. How many of when was the last time we see these players actually give us a performance to play for that badge that they've got on their chest, right? So many of these players are just not. I don't care who the manager is. I don't care who the manager is. You have to play for the badge on your chest. You're playing for Tottenham Hotspur. You're paid by Tottenham Hotspur, not by Ange Postecoglou, right? So you should be playing for pride for that shirt, and they're paying them a lot of money as well. And the fact that they give us absolutely no concentration, no anything, right, is just disgusting in my opinion. And I want to see where my boy Nathan is. Where's my boy Nathan, man? Come on, man. I mean, I want to see this Ange ball in full flow. I mean, this is exactly what we're seeing. This is Ange ball at its peak. This is Ange ball, right? This is what we see. This is Ange ball because Ange ball only happens once in a blue moon. And when it happens, it is great, but it's not consistent. That's the problem with this. That's the problem with this way of playing.
But how do you account for those kind of errors? What do you do about when your players are making those kind of errors?
We're seeing errors from players time and time again. This is not the first game. It's the first
time I've seen that level of errors all in one game.
Yeah,
just
but
like that
that's
for the
because
goals.
Sim, you can tell the players. I said this to you in the studio the other day, right? The players are checked out more and more and more, and as the games go on, they look more and more checked out. They just don't want to be there. They don't want to put on. They don't even want to go out there and play football. That's how bad it is. Half those players literally don't want to be playing for Spurs anymore, right? Romero's clearly checked out. Son is checked out. Some of these players. Yeah, some of these players should have been sold ages ago. But again, why is Son still here? For marketing reasons. That's literally it. It's the only reason Son is here. He should have gone 2 seasons ago, right? Let's be honest. Let's be literally brutally honest. As much as Son has been an amazing servant for this club, he is just not. And look, there's things that Sim, you probably know behind the scenes of the club in terms of the situation with Son and Daniel leaving their relationship. But there's things that have gone on for years, for the last few years, why their relationship has deteriorated. And it's a clear and evident thing, right? That you can see in the last 20 months, 18 months that we've been on this kind of trajectory where Spurs are right now, right? And that's been a massive problem. And for me, when you look at, I mean, if I go through some of the stats, I was looking at some of the statistics today, right? And like, did you know that Arsenal have had more injuries than anyone else in the league? Yet they're in the Champions League. They've just battered Real Madrid 3-0, and they're still second in the league table. That's insane. They've had 27 injuries this season, and we've had Tottenham and Brighton follow with 22 injuries each, right? So how can Arsenal not use that excuse, but we can use an excuse, and we're sitting 15th in the Premier League table? Let me give you some stats, right? This is the first time in 48 years we've lost this many games in the league, right?
21 defeats.
48 years. It is that was the biggest loss we've ever. That's the biggest amount of games we've lost. And that season was when we actually were in a season where we were playing with was it 22 teams in the league, and we actually got relegated, right? That's the last time we had this many losses, when we got relegated. That's how bad it is, right? I mean, it's honestly it's shambolic at the highest level. How this can continue is beyond any reasonable, logical Tottenham fan to sit there and say that Ange should still be managing this football club. He has completely checked out himself, right? He's got no support from his staff. The staff don't know what they're doing, right? There's something else I wanted to read to you, right? And this made me laugh today. Scott Munn has worked behind the scenes with a limited public profile, but he has made a number of significant changes at Spurs, including overhauling the medical and sports science departments last summer. The Tottenham squad have suffered an unprecedented injury crisis this season, leading to scrutiny over those changes. So we're hiring people who've basically revamped the whole medical department, and yet we've had one of the worst injury seasons we've had in years. This is a joke. The whole club is a joke from top to bottom. And the thing is, the sooner you start to have more things in your life that give you happiness than anything else other than Spurs, the sooner you will feel less stressed out about Tottenham. Because honestly, today I was watching, I didn't have any emotion whatsoever. I had no hard feelings. I thought it was more comical than it was stressful or more agitated. But I didn't get agitated once. I didn't celebrate any of the goals. I think so many fans didn't celebrate the goals. It's just, it literally is laughable. I mean, I think it's just, do you know, when you look at some of the stats, the fact that we've scored the third most highest amount of goals in the league means absolutely nothing when we're sitting this low in the table.
Yeah. Who would you have in though? Who's the manager you want in, bro? Because obviously do you know Ange Matic, my boy. I can't trust me. Trust me, bro. And I literally don't know who is going to do anything at this club. Like, for me, if I'm honest, I'm like with you, Ash. I genuinely just want someone who's going to give us a better level of coaching than what this manager is giving us. Then. Someone who is more tactically inept, right? More tactically astute, who can actually coach the players with a formation and a style that doesn't leave us so open that we're more open than a free brothel. Like, genuinely, it's that bad. Right? It is laughable the way we are set up. And the fact that Ange is constantly looking for excuses, constantly looking to deflect the attention from him, he is just, he knows he's the dead man walking. Like, genuinely, he knows this, right? And I don't even know. I think Daniel Levy probably would give him a chance if he wins Europa League. But again, we know what's going to happen. It is like Ten Hag vibes, right? Within 3 months, he'll get sacked because he ain't going to improve. Nothing's going to improve. And we need a whole revamp, and I'm talking from staff, medical teams. I mean, we're hiring people from LinkedIn. We're getting people, advertising the job for medical staff on LinkedIn. I mean, even that's a joke. I mean, it's so bad. Everything that's going on at this club. So for me, it really doesn't matter who the manager is. I just don't care who comes in. All I care about is whoever does come in, they're going to be able to coach better than what we're seeing. Because the one thing I'm 100% sure on, right, is that the players that we have can do so much better than what we're doing right now. 100%. And I'm not saying we're going to go and finish in the top 4. I'm not saying we're even going to compete in the top 8. Maybe we can do that, right? I think the squad is good enough to compete in the top 8. But I can guarantee you a manager who is more tactically astute, who is a lot more, he's more flexible with the teams you play, right? And he can coach players and train them and actually drill them. Not like Ange, who actually can work on set pieces, right? We have someone like that, whoever it is, they are going to do better than what Ange is doing. And I think that's all that us Spurs fans can hope for right now, because the honest truth is nothing at this club is ever going to change until the mentality at the top of the club changes. Until the mentality and the way that, look, I'm going to say this, right? Harry Kane, Tottenham's leading goal scorer of all time. He said, I'm going to paraphrase here, right? But he basically said when he left the club that at Bayern Munich, it's a given. It's a must. You have to win every game, right? It's unacceptable to not win a game. At Tottenham, it doesn't matter if you don't win, right? That is a systemic problem within this club. When you have the ethos, right, that it doesn't matter if we don't win a game, that filters down to your manager, your staff, every single person who works for the club, right? Because the mentality is it doesn't matter if we don't put the effort in to win every single match. As soon as you have that defeatist mentality, you can never succeed in any walk of life.
and that includes football, right? If you go into any job half-heartedly, you go into any walk of life, and you're not putting 110% into your performance, you are going to fail and you're not going to succeed. You might succeed to a certain extent, but you're not going to succeed in the way that you could, or at least give yourself the chance to succeed, right? That is the key. And the problem is, until that changes at this club, until we have someone at the club saying, look, everyone, the goal is to win trophies. Until we have that, we're always going to be a club who's going to float around that top 8, right? We might get lucky in terms of getting a bit further in a competition, or it will take an absolute miracle for us to win any form of trophy, right? But that is the fundamental problem at this club, and it's never going to change, which is why I really don't care who the manager is next.
So what would you do ahead of Thursday, Danny?
Ahead of Thursday, similar. I told you guys in the studio, I told people in the studio, for Thursday, for me, we're never, ever, ever going to beat Frankfurt. The only way we beat Frankfurt, in my opinion, is if we have absolute miracles with it. Frankfurt get 2 red cards and somehow we get lucky with some decisions or something like that's the only way we're going to do it. Because I'm telling you now, there's no way in hell. If you think the team that put in a performance like that today is going to go away to Frankfurt, who is sitting 3rd in the Bundesliga, who literally played pragmatic football against us, and even still, when they did have the ball, they were playing one-touch football against us. They're going to be at home on their own turf, right? There is no way we're going to go and beat them, right? Unless something like that miraculous happens, because it really doesn't matter. Like, the only thing I can say is that the only way we have a chance as well, that they have to not go gung-ho, but they have to have some kind of, they have to have drive. And do you know what, Sim? The last 18 months, barring a couple of games, I have not seen this Tottenham team, and I've been saying this for months now. All I want to see is passion and desire for 90 minutes. And you only see it in purple patches during games. You see it for 5 minutes, maybe, where the team are maybe looking attacking, and that's about it. You don't see it for the whole game. You don't even see it for half a game, right? That's how bad it is. Like, and when fans say that, oh yeah, we're gonna win, I genuinely, like, I'm not being funny or disrespectful. I think they're deluded, because I cannot see, right, what they are seeing to give them belief that we are going to progress or that we can beat a team like them, right? Because I can't even see where we're going to pick up points in the Premier League now. I genuinely I can't see it, right? And I was speaking to someone today and they were saying, mathematically, we could still get relegated. That's how bad it is. We can mathematically still, I mean, well, I don't know now, because I know that Ipswich drew the game against Chelsea, but when they were winning, if they had won that game, right, mathematically, we could get into relegation zone if we lost every game and Ipswich won every game, basically. That's how bad it is. Like, I reckon we're going to finish lower down in the table, because Wolves are 2 points behind us now, or Everton are 2 points behind us, whoever's underneath us. Like, we're going to finish 16th or 17th this season. I cannot see us finishing any higher than that. And that is sad. I mean, the fact that we have stooped to this level, right, that we're hoping that we're hoping, we cling on to this hope, this false hope of getting through the next round in the Europa League. But look, I'm saying it as I see it and as the reality is right now. I'm not looking at it from a delusional Spurs point of view or my Spurs heart on or anything like that. I'm looking at it holistically, right? And the holistic viewing of it, that any single fan on the planet who watches football can see this. Every single fan. Look, this is how bad it is, right? It's got so bad that rival fans want Ange in. When rival fans want your manager to stay in the club, what does that tell you? It tells you are doing so bad that they want to keep seeing you doing so bad, right? There's no comprehension to see, like, why this manager deserves to still be in this job.
The game's gone.
It's not possible.
The game's gone. The game's gone.
All right, Danny, we're going to have to move on. But I appreciate you calling in, mate. It's good to see you.
Big up, boys. It's good to see you.
Big up to you, Danny.
Later, boys.
I'll speak to you in a bit. All right, that was Danny. And we now have David in the back end. Let's bring David on. Hi, David. Thanks for calling in, mate. How are we doing?
How are we doing?
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying to do. To dare is to do. Tell me what you want to discuss today.
Sure. So is Danny Was Danny Ange in or Ange out? He wasn't clear.
You have to ask him again. I'm not sure about that one. But yeah, tell me what you want to talk about.
So I thought I'd bring a bit of positive energy to it.
Come on.
I think we can cover the negative stuff fairly well.
I think everyone else has. Everyone else has to death.
Yeah,
so please do.
That's what I figured. So just, in terms of individual, Vicario had a shocker, so that's it doesn't help anybody. But he's a good shot stopper generally. Your goalkeeper has a shocker like that. It's really tough to win anyway. But I thought Johnson played better than he's played for a while. He was actually doing some runs in behind. He did some nice crosses. So he's been getting a bit of stick for his not doing anything other than scoring, which it's good that people score, so that's useful anyway. But he was actually doing some runs today and putting some nice crosses in. So I thought he had a good game, or a better game. Tell had probably the first game that I think we've seen him played at a better level, because he's been pretty ordinary the whole time up until now. So yeah, and they were probably the two that to me were an improvement. It was good to see Richie on again.
Mm-hmm.
I think Richie, when he was playing for us, he's a good player. He's a great header, and he brings something different. And Dom hasn't been great, so I'm just pleased that Richie got on the field, to be honest, and gives us an opportunity to use him in the Thursday game.
So would you start him then? Would you start Richie? Would you start Richie over Dom? Because you're saying Richie's been played better.
Yeah, in principle, yes. I'm not sure that he's ready. I'm not sure he's got enough. I'm not sure what his fitness level is. Or, so talking about Ange, and so, by the way, my mission is to bring Ben and Brian back to the Ange inside. We like it. We like a challenge.
Well, we got to win that Europa League to do that, I think.
Well, 100%. Look, the reality is, if he doesn't win certainly if he doesn't win this game, but I would say, yeah, if he doesn't win the Europa League, he's got to be gone. And it's not necessarily great for the club. One of the things the thing about Ange, one of the reasons I'm still Ange in, despite everything, is when he's won in the past, he's done it with bang average teams. When he won with Australia, he had a bang average team that he did it with. We had a much better team. So he won in 2015. We had a much better team in 2007. That was straight after our return to the World Cup. We had a great team in 2006 in the World Cup. That same team 6 months later went to the Asian Cup, and we got knocked out in the round 16 or something, because we had a different manager.
Mm-hmm.
And they were a good team, but bad manager. Ange did it with a bang average team, and he went on and win it. So he's done that a lot.
So are you saying we're a bang average team then? Are we a bang average team, in your opinion, player wise?
So you look at Manchester City. When I was growing up, Man United was the team. They were winning everything.
Yeah.
No one heard of Manchester City. Manchester City were doing nothing. And then, what was it, 2001 or so? The Middle East money came in.
2010, around 2010, yeah.
2010 was it, yeah. And they said, okay, we're gonna buy a good team, and buy a great manager, and all of a sudden they're winning everything. Now that's one way to do it. I can't see Daniel Levy doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Daniel Levy's not going to do that, then the only other way to do it is with cheaper players. And I think the way they're approaching it right now is, okay, let's try and find the next kid. We lost Harry Kane. I mean, Andrew's done all this without Harry Kane. He did it right in the first season. Didn't do it right this season. But you got to replace. You got to get that level of kind of player. And if you don't want to buy it, you're going to have to find it young, buy a bunch of young players, and hope find the ones that kind of pan out, and try and hold on to them and make that work. And that's a longer process doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're going to have a few years of not great, but hopefully, if they've done a good job, they've saved some money, and 2 years from now, you may have a great team. But
so
now,
you'd want Ange to stay for another 2 years. You'd want Ange to stay here for another 2 years.
I guess,
where would you expect him to finish as well?
I don't know, but my point right now is, he hasn't got the greatest squad. We're an okay squad. He hasn't got the top players in the league. And I don't think there's anybody right now that can take that squad and do. He wants to win titles. Like there's, we can say, okay, well, if we get another manager, then maybe we come sixth next year. Who cares? Like unless you're at least in the top four, so you get into the Champions League. Okay, maybe the European stuff at least, maybe top 8 kind of thing. But Ange philosophically wants to win titles.
So do you think?
Be able to do it. He may not.
Do you think if he was at Man City, then he would have more of a chance in achieving what he wants to achieve in terms of winning league titles and winning cups?
It's hard to know because I've never seen him with a top team. Like maybe he's not the right manager for. If you've got the best players in the world, maybe he's not the right manager. I don't know. He's never been in that situation. He's won stuff with average teams, and so if you've got an average team, I think he is a great manager for that level. He's doing. I mean, apart from this year, he's made a lot of mistakes. I think he's learning. I think in terms of learning for me, I think he's learned this year. He made a huge mistake with the medical stuff, and one of the things he's doing now is bringing the players back a bit slower. Like you asked him about Richie, do we play? Do we start him? I think Ange has learned. You know what? We made a lot of mistakes with the medical stuff. We need to rethink the stuff with Van der Ven. He did. He broke him down a couple of times. This time he said, okay, he's not quite ready. We're going to take a different approach. And you watch Van der Ven now, he doesn't have the afterburners on every second. So there's been some lessons there, hopefully. And hopefully part of that is if he does get to stay, which is well and truly up in the air, hopefully he can take that lesson into next year. Okay, well, let's not make that mistake again. And I think the other major mistake he's made is not taking the fans on the journey. I think if you're going to, success or otherwise, if you're going to have a path that you see a path forward, you can't alienate the fans. And I don't think he did it deliberately. He just didn't pay attention to it. And to me, that's a huge mistake. The ear cupping thing, I don't know if that was deliberate or not. Or certainly when he was interviewed straight after it, he was shocked by the question. Whether he'd realised he shouldn't have done it and he just pretended to be shocked or not, I don't know. I kind of take his word for it at the moment because he genuinely was shocked, and so he either learned that was a bad idea and move on, or he genuinely didn't mean it to be taken the way it was. But you've got to keep the fans on side. It's that there to me the medical stuff and the keeping the fans offside. You've got to sell the journey. So. What did you guys take anything positive out of today at all?
Decky fit again, I guess.
Decky, yeah.
Positives. I thought Madison at times was all right, but
good question. It's a very good question.
Let me think. It's tough. It's tough. I guess
I've got
a couple of goals back in it before screwing up again.
Yeah. I think we've played a lot worse than this. We played worse than this against Tamworth. We played worse than this against a few games. Like to me, the team generally put in a bit of energy, which sometimes they don't. And the passing was not too bad on the whole. I've seen us no one's putting in any energy in some of the games, like Tamworth game, and everybody's missing every pass. Like we could only hold on to the ball for like 2 passes and then we're done. So we definitely have played a lot worse than we played today. Now that's a low bar. A
lot of our play today was just really undercut by inexplicable mistakes, which were when every time we made
Ange's fault.
I can't see what he can do about some of them that he made, but like it definitely you could see when even the first half we were controlling the game, and then we just scored that own goal.
I just feel like the narrative's gonna be now. Okay, the mistakes happened, and that's the reason why.
And every time we made a mistake, it just knocked us back. You could see it.
But do you see what I'm saying? Where the narrative's going now? Because the narrative's gonna be that because of the mistakes, it was the mistakes. I always feel like it's always something, and I don't feel like there's enough accountability at times on what's actually happening on the pitch. Now, I said like there's a one-off, and you have mistakes. It's understandable. You do need context, and it does make sense.
But we're talking about just about today.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm saying in terms of, and let's keep it to today as well, because you're right in saying that, and I agree with you. Let's keep it to today. I just didn't feel like, because I said to Sim during the watch along, we have a lot of the ball, but in actual chance creation and actually testing the goalkeeper, that's what I need to see more of now. Am I being too harsh from wanting my team to create chances and out,
every team wants that.
Outdo the opposition in terms of like testing the goalkeeper, getting shots on goal, shots on target? Because for me, I looked at Wolves. Wolves had more of that, the bigger opportunities. And when I read the stats as well, it backs up from what I saw as well.
Yeah, but we gifted them those, all 4 of them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the big chance, the goals, yes. But I saw there was other opportunities when I thought better decision making, they would have punished us, or a better team would put us to the sword. Do you know what I mean? Lucky for us, it is Wolverhampton. So that's where I'm like, I'm just trying to be fair on my side. If, for example, we hit the crossbar, we hit the post, like when we played Frankfurt and we drew, and we had this type of energy, how we're having this discussion now, I would be like, fair is fair. I think we should have won that game. Do you know what I mean? I thought we were the better of the 2 teams. And I'm quite disappointed.
No, I'm not. No one's sitting here saying we should have won.
Yeah. All right. I know. I hear that. I'm just saying, just I just feel like the narrative is pushing towards that because of the mistakes.
Whose narrative?
I just feel like there's an undertone that because of the mistakes, that's the reason why, we've lost the game. Ultimately, I just feel like there's a bit.
I mean, but so what's Ange supposed to say? That I mean, I agree with.
Oh no! I'm not saying Ange is meant to say anything, but I think for a lot of the fans, they would prefer if Ange came out and said, he didn't come out. He didn't come out and say, we controlled the game, because having a lot of the ball is not really controlling the game. I felt like Wolves deliberately sat off us and defended in a low block, and then it depends what type of football you prefer to watch. But ultimately, there's different ways to win a football game. And we're no strangers to that. When it came to Conte and Mourinho, they prefer to set off teams and then hit fast transitions. And as we saw, the times we've beaten Man City and other teams like that, it's the transitional football that's worked more for us than us pinning teams back in, having a lot of the ball and not creating a lot of the chances. That's my only thing. That's the way I'm seeing it. That's where I'm coming at from that angle, if that makes sense. But Ange, yeah, you're right.
You'd have to change the club motto if you did that, though. I mean, the motto is to dare is to do.
And I didn't see a lot of daring. I thought we did a lot of safe passes. I agree with you. There was a lot of safe passes. I felt like we should have been risking it. And I said to Sim, why don't we go long sometimes, create chaos? Because I feel like Ange is all about creating chaos, forcing.
We do, and Solanke can't hold it at the moment. That's also a problem.
But I also think, like, even if Solanke's not holding it, there's other players that could be running in behind. Like I'm saying, Wolves, their striker's not always running in behind, but other players are joining the attack.
Yeah, we're looking for Brennan as well. I do see us going behind to Brennan and Solanke, but it's just not working at the moment. Look, and if it's not working, that's also down to him, because he has to find something that does work, and that's the reality. And I completely agree with that. But I think today, when I assess why we lost the game, I think we didn't play well in general. I think there were times where we were on top and if it looked like we were going to score. But I thought, to be fair, even when we scored that 2-1, that was probably against the run of play when we went 2-1.
I just think, all right, today is a bad example, but I think it's a multiple effect where today, okay, it's a one-off, you'd say 4-2, whatever. But as David has said, we've played a lot worse this season. And lost by a 1-goal margin. So I've even heard that, well, when we lose, we only lose by like a 1-goal thing. Do you know what I mean? So I also think that we kind of move the perimeter or the goalpost sometimes, depending on what the situation is. When we lose by a goal, it's like we only lost by a goal. Or if we do lose, it's like, oh, but, the performance wasn't too bad. Or if we do lose, the performance was bad, but we played. Do you know what I'm trying to say? There's always something else, in my opinion, you know what I mean? But yeah, just focusing on today, and I felt like at the end of the presser, sometimes just say, we need to be better than this. Do you know what I mean? And I think that would help sway some of the fans from being like so harsh on Ange.
I don't think it would.
I think that's part of the problem.
The problem is we've had so many losses
Yeah,
Like,
I think people are sick of hearing anything. And he could say anything. He could say anything. I don't think they'd get anything.
I just don't think it helps personally. Like sometimes
I don't think anything. I think if he said, "Oh, it's not good enough," I think you'd probably say, "Well, he should say something else." Like I don't think it had anything makes a difference right now with what he says. Like when there's been that many defeats, that's what people are going to be angry at, not about what he's saying. Like that's just that's the thing. Like it doesn't matter what he says.
That is
people are gonna
true.
be angry
That
about.
is true. That is true. But then so like. The other shoe is then you could say like the manager needs to be doing better then. Full stop.
Oh, of course.
Full stop.
No one disagrees with that.
Full stop.
No one disagrees with that. We know he needs to be doing better. No, the amount of defeats is not acceptable.
I do wonder what.
Go on.
I do wonder what they're doing on the training pitch. I have to say because we're not really seeing it. Like we're playing better today, but we're not really seeing Ange. I saw a lot of people, a lot of players pointing in different directions today because no one seemed to know where they were supposed to be running to and where the next guy was supposed to be. So that cohesion.
Yeah.
Now some of that you could put down to the injuries because it takes a while to build those relationships. But they've been back from injuries for a while now, and
it's still not quite.
So that's the part that worries me mostly. Like,
clicking.
what are they doing on the training pitch? Because they don't seem to know what. We're not. We saw more Ange ball in the first 10 weeks. 2 years ago than we're seeing at the moment. It's like, well, you've had 2 years of training these people. What have you been teaching them? So that's more of a worry for me. Having said that, we're going to win on Thursday, no problem.
All right,
positive,
come on, David.
positive.
A bit of positivity. But look, we gotta go because we're running out of time here. But David, appreciate you calling in, mate. Thanks for your time.
David.
And
nice
we'll
to
see
meet
you
you,
soon.
man. Thanks again for the
Come
call.
on, you Spurs.
Come on,
you Spurs.
And I think is he the last caller?
Oh yeah, I might have to go soon though. I'm not gonna lie.
All right,
I'll have to leave you to it, Sim.
All right, we can do.
I'll do the last one with you, and then
I'll do one more.
I'll have to run after that. Sorry, callers. I know everyone wants to.
So we're running out of time here, though.
Yeah, good call, man. That was good conversation.
Yeah, it was very good. That was good from David.
Good conversation, man. He was the one that offered something a little bit different to the
All right, get on Hotspur. We're going to keep this short, unfortunately. But hey, Haz.
What's happening, Haz?
Hey, you alright?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thanks. What did you want to say?
Well, first of all, I think today wasn't really a surprise. I actually put us down to lose this game because I thought he'd rest players, and coupled with the fact that I think Wolves have got our number basically under Ange. I mean, if you look at the record over the past 2 seasons, we haven't beaten them with Ange.
Yeah.
So, like, the score wasn't surprising. My biggest issue is just his passiveness on the touchline. Like, I always believe it rubs onto the players, and I think we've seen this progressively. And my pinpointed this as in starting since Man City. We lost at home to Man City, and that was beginning of the end for Ange in terms of like with the fans. But in terms of just in general, I just think we've gone backwards since that game, really, in the sense that, hey, we lost that game because we didn't want Arsenal to win the league, but I think he lost the belief of a lot of the fans from that game, really, because I feel like he lost me that game, but he didn't really understand what it meant to be a Spurs manager, I thought, or be part of Tottenham
culture.
But to be fair, you can't expect him to come out and say, "Yeah, we should lose."
I'm not supposed to come out to say he should lose, but the problem with Ange is he like sits there and he'll react to like fans having a go at him. He's been doing that since that day. Not obviously every week, but like we've seen it progressively get worse. And like I was listening to you guys talk earlier and saying that whatever Ange says, he can't win now. But I kind of think it's his own fault because he's kind of made a rod for his own back with his like behaviour.
Well, I think more just results, I would say. Yeah. And behaviour as well, the ear cup, reacting to fans, 100%. I agree with that as well. Like he doesn't help himself in that aspect. Completely agree with that. But what would you do ahead of Thursday? Would you keep him in charge for the Thursday game, or would you make a change?
The problem now is that whoever we bring in, I don't think will be the manager for like next season. So you'd have to bring in someone who will kind of just do the last 8-9 games, which means most likely we'll get Mason or someone like that in, I guess, at this point.
8 games we've got left.
6 games.
6 games. 6 games, bro.
Okay, yeah. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it's really Easter.
I'm kind of counting 7. It's actually 7. I'm counting the game, but anyway.
All
But
right.
like for me, it's more the fact that if we'd done it earlier, say like even a month or 2 ago, I wanted someone like Benitez to come in. I think it would have worked better. But if you bring someone now, just before the second leg, I don't think it's going to work. So even though I'm being Ange out since February 2024, there's no point in getting rid of him right now, just before the second leg. You might as well just let him play it. And then hopefully, if we score the first goal, I think we've got a chance. But if they score first, I think it's going to be an uphill battle. So the first 15, 20 minutes is going to be the most important. Like even though I don't want him to stay, I think you kind of have to leave him and let him do the second leg at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Makes sense.
Well, Haz, unfortunately, we are running out of time, so I had to keep it brief. But appreciate you calling in, mate.
Right.
Thanks a lot for calling in, mate.
Last one, bro.
And we'll see you
Take
soon.
care, mate.
See you soon. All right. And is there... No, that's the last one. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us for all today's drama, shambles, tragic performances, the pain. We all live it through together. But Ash, big up to you, bro. Thank you for coming for the watch along and the fan show. Go and subscribe to Spurs Kings TV, people. Come on. Subscribe if you want to see more of Ash, more of Marlon. You want to let people know what they can expect?
More cookies, bro. More
cookies.
Yeah.
Cookies.
No, well, I'm back on Tuesday.
You're taking people's data, all the cookies.
Yeah, man. Something like that. But yeah, we're back on Tuesday to discuss all things Spurs. I'm sure there'll be more to talk about since then, but we'll look forward to the Frankfurt game as always and break down things, not just about the games, but, you know, in the club and as a whole. But yeah, join in, man. Tune in.
Big up to everyone. Let me just one more super chat from CCM28 says, imagine watching a pattern 17 times and still not seeing the common denominator, Ange out. Well, that's what CCM has to say. But look, big up everyone who tuned in for the watch along and for the fan show and showing all your support for the channel. We'll be back tomorrow in the studio with all the breakdown of today's events, and Ben will be back, so we get to chat to him and we'll see what we got to say about that. But we'll see you all very, very soon. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.